thunder cracks and roars. I wake up from a bad dream. I'm feeling a little lonely. As a child, one thing remained the same out of all of these situations. I had my blanket with me. My blanket is my friend, my comforter, and my safe haven. My blanket was handed down to me, and I named him Blanky. He was handed down for me. His original owner was my older brother. My older brother is 4 years older than me, and he was really quick to throw away the blanket for cool toys, you know, like Power Rangers and all that. And this blanket was one of a lot of things that I got from my brother. And as a baby, my brother slept with this blanket, and my mom would wrap him up in it, you know, like the swaddle thing. And then when she gave it to me, she did the exact same thing. Unlike my brother, I wasn't quick to throw away my blankie, obviously. So I kept it all these years. And so it has continued to, it's never failed in what it has done for me. So let me tell you some things about my blankie. Blankie's a boy, and Blankie is actually 3 blankies. So this is one of them. There's colorful clowns on it, and they're all the same size. They look exactly like this, except the pattern's different. And then I have one with little blue bunny rabbits. And then I have another one. I don't exactly know what it is. They look like animal cracker-shaped dogs, because they're just kind of like they could be any 4-legged animal. And Blankie can be used for many practical reasons. So like this, I would use it as like a scarf or something if I was cold, and like my face gets cold really easily, especially when my mom turns on the air conditioning really high. So, you know, I'll do it like that or something. And then a lot of times, if I bruise really easily, and I would fall and run into a lot of things. So, you know, I would like tie it around that area if it hurt. And so this blankie, they're really good at retaining cold. So like, I would actually put it on the air vent and like get it cold. And then I'd like tie it around there and it'd kind of like soothe the area. And then also, if I get a bug bite, I would like tie it around the area so that I wouldn't scratch it, because I was really bad at not scratching it. My mom always says, put alcohol on it. But then, you know, if you keep scratching it a lot, then it just gets bigger. So that was my problem. Blankie is my secret. I've never told anybody about it. I was actually thinking whether I should do my blankie, because I didn't want to really show you guys my blankie. So I always keep it at home. I don't bring it anywhere with me. So I've never told anyone about it, and I don't show it to anyone. It's one of my most precious items. It's even more secret than my journal, because I've shown my journal to very few people, but I've still shown it to people. But my blankie is always hidden. Or like if someone would come over, I would hide my blanket so they didn't know I had it. But also, growing up, I was really embarrassed about my blankie, because, you know, public school is like, the kids are really rough and stuff, so I was afraid that if they knew that I had a blankie, you know, they would pick on me and everything. Like when we have like the classroom, we had like reading slumber parties, and we'd like dress up in our pajamas. I would never bring my blankie because I was afraid that people would be like, what, you have a blankie? You're already like 12 years old. And so I was afraid to be bullied. But then as I grew up, like, you know, going through middle school, like finding who you are, and then into high school, discovering what kind of person I really was, I started not being embarrassed about it, because if you were my friend and like you got to know who the person I was becoming, if you found out that I had a blanket, it wouldn't be that surprising, because like I had a very big personality, so, but I also had like a really gentle side and kind of quirky and weird. So if you knew that I had a blanket, I mean, it wasn't that shocking. They found it kind of cute or whatever. But even though people would understand, few people, I still didn't like to tell them because I just didn't feel the need to share that part of my life with anybody. Ever since I was young, I've had a lot of abandonment issues and anxiety because when I grew up, I was always kind of weird and I don't know, it's hard to explain, but just I kind of started to form this like wall between me and my parents. It's only recently that I've started like opening up to them and really talking to them. We had bad communication. And then also, ever since I was young, ever since 3rd grade, people have always left me. So I never really had friends. I had one best friend, but then she moved in 3rd grade, and then after that, I found out that she wasn't really my friend. And so after that, no one ever felt like I was worth staying with, so they always left me, and yeah, I got very lonely and afraid of people leaving me. And according to some psychology research, children become attached to blankets because they believe it possesses some kind of life force or essence. So kind of like how they have imaginary friends, except this one's more physical. And so since my blanket was like an imaginary friend, except tangible, like, you know, it became my friend and it really made me calm. So like how I was wearing it here, it really like helps calm me down and kind of like I have a friend with me, you know, to reassure me. One study published in the Journal of Consulting and Clinical Psychology in 2000 found that kids who have their blankets with them experience less distress, and they've proven this by like taking their blood pressure and heart rate. So like when they go to the doctors, and like they actually like take it, and then those that have blankets aren't as scared. And as a child and even into my teen years, I'm very afraid of a lot of things, like not just snakes, bees, and that stuff. Like I'm afraid of simple things, especially people leaving me because of the abandonment that I had before. And one of the things that I was afraid of were thunderstorms. I used to be really afraid of thunderstorms because I don't know why, but I've always been afraid of like really sudden loud sounds. So like I remember one time on an airplane, these people behind me, they like suddenly started fighting and yelling, and it like really freaked me out, and I kind of threw up on the plane. But the lady next to me was really nice, because I threw up on my arm. So the lady next to me was cleaning my arm. She's like, it's okay. It was like the final tennis game. Anyway, but yeah, it really freaks me out. And so, you know, thunder, I was always afraid because, I mean, I learned in the TV shows, you know, when you see the flash, count how many seconds it is, and then that's how many miles away the storm is. But it still freaked me out because thunderstorms are like unpredictable. And so when there was a thunderstorm, I would always, you know, like hide under it. And so I always had this saying, it wasn't true, but I made up this saying. I said, if I can't see the thunderstorm, it can't see me. And it would go away. So I would go around my house like crawling on the ground near the windows to hide myself from the window so it couldn't see me. And then I'd build tents in my room and like hide, because I was like, and my mom would ask me, what are you doing? I was like, I'm hiding from the thunderstorm. And so, you know, I was also afraid of losing people. So I'm a crybaby because of that. And so, you know, every time I cried, because of those walls I had with my parents, I couldn't really tell them about the people that left me and all those troubles that I had. So, you know, I would just go in my room and have my blankie, and I would cry. But it always reminded me of my mom's lap, soft and comforting. If I did tell her things, I'd lay on her lap and she'd like pat my head and stuff. So that was like that. And I've also been very afraid of growing up. It took me a long time to actually decide to come to college, because I do not want to be an adult. I'm so afraid of the adult life and everything. And I was never one of those people that wanted to graduate high school. And usually people are like, I'm ready to get out of the house. I don't need my parents. And I was like, Mommy, please let me stay. And she told me, you can't stay in the house unless you go to school. I was like, okay. So since I hate change, my blanket has always comforted me in that, because all the time, if there was something that I didn't like, I would kind of just like go in my room and like lay with my blanket, and I always thought to myself, this moment, just sitting here, this won't change. No matter what happens around me, I can always just go in my room and my blanket will stay the same, and I can just have that moment. And blankets and toys, they're known as transition objects. So these kind of things help with transitioning from familiar to unfamiliar, which is why, a lot of kids have blankets, toys, and imaginary friends. And so my blanket, it may just be an object that I should have outgrown years ago, but to me, it's a friend that's gotten me through hard times, scary times, and even times that I was fighting with something inside of me that I couldn't tell anybody. And without my blanket, I wouldn't have made it to this day. And it will continue to be everything that it is and everything that it does, as I've said today.
French fries on me. Time!